What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for this one I wanted to do another one of the requests that I got from you guys in the comment section. Now guys, let me just go ahead and say this really quickly since I do own the uniform. However, I am not a fan of how it looks. I prefer how he looks without it. And to be honest, he does not need this uniform. So if you're really new or if you're free to play and you just don't have the crystals to spare, I would say go ahead and spend that crystal on somebody else who needs that uniform to be great. Because Yellowjacket is going to be amazing right out the gate as long as you build him properly. Does this uniform make him better? Yes. Do you need it? No. I just wanted to say that really quickly because I did a review on the uniform already. So let me just say this guys, if you're new to the game, you might not know, but Yellowjacket came out about 4 months after the game was released in 2015. So the game was released in April, he came out in July, and the rest was history guys. He's been at the top since that time. Like whenever you talk about best characters in the game or best blast characters, Yellowjacket will always get mentioned. Like no matter who you ask a brand new player, you ask a veteran, and if you're talking best characters in the game, they'll always tell you that Yellowjacket is one of the best. So for him to be in that kind of a position 2 years later guys, like pretty much 2 years later, to still be mentioned, that is a feat in itself. Of the original year one characters in Future Fight guys, there's only one that still gets mentioned fairly often, and that's Black Widow, and she only gets mentioned for extreme AB because she's really good with the lightning damage and she has a wide radius. She has Yellowjacket beat when it comes to alliance battle, but in every other regard Yellowjacket has her beat hands down, and that's the only character that I can think of from Future Fight year one that can compete with Yellowjacket. Like he's still at the top 2 years later. That just shows you how dominant of a character he is. And Black Widow can only compete with Yellowjacket if she's tier 2, while Yellowjacket, as you guys can see, mine is still tier 1, and I've had him for pretty much over a year now maxed out, and I still won't tier 2 him because he doesn't need to be tier 2. So he's a good character for you guys who are really new and you're looking for a blast character, after you get Sharon Rogers of course, and he's farmable, so he's free. So all you gotta do is run dimension rifts, which you need to do anyways, and you can get him right in here. Okay guys, I just wanted to say that really quickly before I get into anything else, because this guy is a beast across the board guys. World boss, alliance battle, which I said he can do it, but he can't compete with a lot of the other characters because he does not have the kind of AoE that he needs. He's more of a single target suppression type character. He has amazing damage, really good survivability, but he just doesn't have the kind of AoE that you need to clear up the mobs and all that other stuff. Okay guys? When it comes to Shadowland, this guy is an absolute monster guys. I can solo pretty much any floor I put him on, given I play him well enough. There are a few floors that will give him a hard time, but he can still do it, and I only have him at tier 1, and he only gets better at tier 2. Okay guys? The reason I don't have him at tier 2 is because even if I put him at tier 2, he's not going to have any AoE, because as you guys can see right here, his tier 2 passive is just designed to give him more damage. Like he needs more damage. Like literally, the only thing I can think of that they could give Yellowjacket to make him any better is some damage block or some clones, and he'll be like friggin' like Doctor Strange level. Like, okay, let's not go that crazy, but he will be even better than he already is, which is pretty hard to do. Because as you guys can see right here, 20% crit damage increase, 25% increase to crit rate, and guaranteed dodge. So guaranteed crit rate, guaranteed dodge. This is a really good passive. On top of that, it makes his tier 1 passive, which is a really good passive. Like, I wish we had more of these passives in the game right now. It's already a really good passive, and it only gets better. As you guys can see, it says when he's below 30%, he gets an increase to his crit rate and is increased to his attack even more, guys. He's designed to just wipe the map. And let me just show you guys what his tier 2 passive like does to his tier 1 passive real quickly, guys. So we'll just jump in here, click on Yellowjacket, and as you guys can see right here, when you hit the tier 2, boom, it goes from 30% to 80%. So once he starts taking damage, his attack gets increased by 15% instead of the 10, and he gets a little bit more crit rate. I'm not sure what the character size even does, to be honest, because I don't know if that gives you more dodge or something, but I guess it is what it is. The other two, the friggin' the HP being higher and the attack being higher is just really, really freaking good because he's just gonna be even more of a monster early on in the fight. Like, that's actually crazy, guys. This boy, absolute beast. I'm telling you guys. And his kit is actually really, really good because he has 3 iframe skills. 2 of them, as you guys can see right here, the laser burst. This one right here, it paralyzes the enemy, which is a really good skill and skill effect because of the fact that there is nothing in the game right now that will protect you against being paralyzed. Unlike stuff like stun resist or snare resist, obelisk, or passives, there's nothing that can prevent you from being paralyzed, so you will lock down the enemy and then just burst them down with crazy amount of damage. And the reason why I even mentioned the paralysis effect is because if you're in stuff like Shadowland, once you hit an iframe skill like this is, the enemy will start running away from you and you will start having to chase them. Whereas if they're paralyzed, they're just gonna stand in place and get their friggin' face wiped. So that's actually a really good thing. On top of that, this skill right here, Now You See Me, his 3-star skill is an iframe skill. Okay, guys? So that's a really good way to come out of this iframe, which is a full iframe, into another full iframe. And this skill right here, the Flying Barrage, is a partial iframe. A lot of people don't use it because it's a partial iframe and it doesn't do that great of damage, but you can squeeze it in there to prevent yourself from taking extra damage, and there's nothing wrong with it. Personally, I only use the 5, the 4. The 4 is not an iframe, and if you don't have the uniform, it keeps you stationary, so it is a risky skill. So if you're in encounters that are not just one-on-one, you ideally should stay away from this if you don't have the uniform. If you have the uniform, it gives him a bit of AoE with a little spin at the end, so it makes it so that you're able to catch more enemies and kind of like guard break them in a sense. However, you still want to be careful with this skill because it is not an iframe, okay guys? And from there, I usually go into the 3 and right back into the 5. And if you have max skill cooldown or really close, that's all you will need for the entirety of the fight. The 5, the 4, the 3. And that's across the board. So we're talking World Boss, we're talking Shadowland, and we're talking Battle World and Timeline to an extent. Like, Timeline is crazy right now because of all the crazy OP characters that we have in the game, like Odin, Doctor Strange, Dormammu and stuff. So even at tier 2, he still might just get wiped, but he can hold it down if you're in like Platinum and stuff like that. Okay, guys? So this skill right here is actually one that does really good damage, and a lot of people don't really talk about it because of the fact that it roots you. But the Stinger skill right here, it actually does really, really good damage, and I usually squeeze it in encounters where I'm up against a single enemy, so like in Shadowland and stuff. It's really good for suppressing them because it's just a bunch of attacks one after the other, and it will just keep hitting them in the face and pushing them back a little bit. So it's really good in that regard. And Yellowjacket is a really, really easy character to build, guys. You don't want to go with anything other than offense. You want to go with one of the 3 offensive ISO sets. I went with Power of Angry Hulk because my cards are really good. So as you guys can see right here, I'm not really missing too much of anything except some more crit damage and some more attack speed. I could use some more skill cooldown, but that's fine right there. And for you guys, that you may need to go with Hawk's Eye, because as you guys can see by taking a look at his gears, he doesn't have any native skill cooldown. He has ignore defense, he has HP, he has crit rate and crit damage, and he has attack speed and dodge. Dodge is useless, and I'm talking about the orange slots, guys. I'm not talking about what I have rolled on the gear. I'm talking about what natively comes with Yellowjacket. Now from there, you want to obviously go and roll energy per level in the first 2, and you want to get ideally you want to get percentages that are 48% or higher. I usually just keep going until I get 50 for characters that I really, really like. So yeah. Then all defense is the second slot. You want to go for HP. And right here I went with skill cooldown and a little bit of crit damage because I needed to make sure I get as close to 36% as I can. As for your obelisk, guys, this is what I went for. I went for ignore defense and a damage proc. Can this obelisk be better? Obviously, I could get rid of the poison resist, but 2 out of 3, is not bad. You definitely want to go for something with a damage proc 100%. It's up to you if you want to go for crit damage and a damage proc, but I would say make sure that even if you do that, your friggin' ignore defense is already at 50%. That is a key stat, guys. You definitely want to have that at friggin' 50% no matter what. Okay? And the damage proc is excellent because Yellowjacket is designed to kill the enemy as quickly as you can. You don't want to drag out the fight too much, even though he does have a good amount of iframes. And as for his leadership, guys, this leadership right here is unique to Yellowjacket. No one else in the game currently has this. And although you guys may think, oh yeah, this is pretty bad because it's a 10% chance when you're attacking to paralyze the enemy for 3 seconds, it's actually pretty good because of the fact that it is paralysis. And like I mentioned earlier, there is nothing you can do to prevent yourself, as of now, there's nothing you can do to prevent yourself from being paralyzed. Okay, there's not many characters in the game that even have paralysis effect. I think that Wasp has one, and I think Clovis has one, and that's about it. So this is really good, and even though it's a 10% chance, the fact that all of Yellowjacket's skills are multi-hitting skills, that 10% is gonna feel more like 25%. Okay, and as you guys can see, the cooldown is not that long. It's only 12 seconds, and with all the iframes that you have to hide in, that that 12 seconds is gonna go by really quickly, guys. Okay, so just to show you guys some gameplay with this guy, just to have some fun, we're gonna go inside Shadowland and we're gonna murder the cap relay right here and see just how fast Yellowjacket can shred these guys. So let's roll. All right, boys, let's play. That's one. That's two. Oh, is that three? God damn. Where you coming from? And as you guys can see, even without a damage boosting leadership, Yellowjacket just murdered these guys. What's that, 20 seconds? That's crazy, guys. And that's all I have to say for this one. Like always, thanks for watching. Don't waste your Yellowjacket this early on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.